Welcome to the Safe Sensei segment on disciplining your child while driving a car. If your child is engaging in dangerous behavior, exiting their restraints, their child safety seat, their seat belts, fighting with other children in the car, throwing things, climbing up to the front seat, it can be very dangerous. They can bump the controls of the car and cause a deadly crash. Obviously, action has to be taken to stop this behavior, or everyone in the car is at risk. Your action steps: number one, I can't stress enough how important it is to practice the praise, 6 point praise and consequence system we talk about in our other videos. Being able to get a grip on your child's behavior and instilling in that mom and pop mean what they say the first time, and doing what mom and pop tell you to the first time is the easiest path. Kids do things more so because they feel like it than they think about it. And this system teaches them to feel what mom and dad say are the safest ways to behave. And when you get a grip on this can transfer to surrogates, babysitters, grandparents, and such. So I can't stress enough how number one is to master that 6 point praise and consequence system. We'll go through it quickly. Number one, when you're practicing with your child, you want to dock shoulder to shoulder, eye to eye, with a healthy touch. Put your hand on their shoulder, squeeze just a little bit, and tell them nice and slow exactly what you want them to do or what you don't want them to do. Obviously, this is impossible when you're driving a car. So we want to be able to practice this as much as possible in every other environment we can. Number two, stop repeating yourself. Parents that repeat themselves over and over teach the child they don't mean what they say the first time. And when they tell them that there's a consequence coming and the consequence doesn't really come, children don't feel safe. They want to know that what mom and dad say are the golden rule. And if mom and dad or anyone that's in charge of the child says, if this happens, this is what's going to happen, it'll help them feel safe. So, number two, make sure you stop repeating yourself. Number three, tell them when. And for our system, when is always right now. If you come home from work and you say, son, please wash your hands sometime before dinner, I'm tired, you don't want to be a hardtail, but they're probably going to not do it, which means they're going to procrastinate it. And every time they think about it, they're going to have a negative affirmation. And every time you think about the fact they didn't do it, you're going to have a negative affirmation. And that creates that emotion. And finally, when we get louder and more emotional and the child follows through, the second message is, I really don't mean what I say, until we become emotional. So repeating yourself teaches your child you don't mean what you say the first time. Becoming emotional and having them follow through kind of sinks that home, saying I really don't mean what I say until I become emotional or raise my voice. So you absolutely must control your car safely, or everyone in the car is at risk of serious physical harm. There are legal, responsible locking seat belts that you can use for your child. I looked online. I quickly saw something called the Buckle Boss. Now, I don't work for Buckle Boss. I don't sell the Buckle Boss. I haven't used their product, but it seems pretty simple. The Buckle Boss disallows children from meddling with others in the car by locking them in a safe place when you're getting from point A to point B. Some children have focus challenges, ASD, autism on the spectrum. Some kids, ADHD, they just simply can't control. And so helping a child in this way makes everybody safe. And if the child knows they cannot get out of their seatbelt, they're going to be way less likely to try and cause that harm to everyone in the car. So I want you to check and make sure in your state the things that you do are legal and effective. But when you're driving a car, it's just absolutely a must that you control that child while you're in the car. It's your responsibility to keep everyone safe. Now, last, during an automotive behavior emergency, you must pull over safely. And when you're driving down the freeway, sometimes there's not a safe place to pull over. So if your child escapes their seatbelt and they're in the front seat and you're distracted, think about how many people perish from or get seriously harmed from distracted driving. And there's nothing more distracted than two children fighting, throwing things, monkeying around, or actually attacking their parents when they're in the car. And this happens every single day. So finding a safe place to pull over is paramount. And hopefully, with this advice, practicing our 6 point praise and discipline system, and using things like the buckle boss, you won't have to be in this situation. But if you do indeed find yourself in this situation, you have to pull over to a safe place off of the freeway or road. You don't want to pull into an unsafe neighborhood, but your emotions are going to be high. You're going to be stressed. And if you don't pull off to a safe place, another tragedy can happen with some other less than focused driver running into the back of your car. Now, the last kind of thing I want to kind of touch on here is during an automotive behavior emergency, when you pull over, it's super important that you have a plan. What are you going to do when you pull over? Now, I was in a situation where my two younger boys started fighting in the back of the car. And they were of the age to where it was a gray area whether they should have been in actual child safety seats, and they weren't at the time, and they started fighting. So I pulled over on the road that I was on, and it wasn't a freeway, but it was a big three-way two-way road with a lane in the center for turn laning, and they started fighting. So I pulled over off to a safe place, and I pulled the boys out of the car, and I put them in push-up position, just a forward-leaning rest position. And I told them, this is dangerous, you can't do this. And along comes a police officer. The police officer came along and said, what is going on here? And I told him, I said, hey, these boys were fighting in the car. It was negatively affecting how I was operating the vehicle. And I gave them a choice to stop fighting, or I would pull over and deal with it myself. And my way to deal with it was to put them in push-up position, which they feel in their arms. Young people, especially boys who have a focus challenge, when they feel the weight of their consequences in their muscles, it triggers a different learning and focus center in the brain. And it was very effective. And that police officer shook my hand and said, good job, and went on his way. He very much supported the choice that I made to be able to help with that kind of discipline with my boys. And I'll tell you what, they never did that again. So, I hope that this video helps trigger something so that you don't have to deal with this, so that you're prepared before this happens. And if it happens once, if you have a wild child in the car and it happens once, look up how to control them by locking them in their car seat safely, so that you can safely operate the automobile and get to where you're going. So I really hope you found this effective. Hey, we have a website, safesensei.com. If you go to the safesensei.com, you can reach out to me directly if you want some personal one-on-one coaching. We have room for a couple of more personal coaching clients, and it'd be an honor for me to help you. So like and subscribe, do all the stuff we want to do with YouTube, and thank you for listening today, and I sure hope this helps. Have a great day.